In this lesson, we're going to be talking about key signature. Now, at the top of your paper, you will have either treble clef or bass clef. Either one is fine. I'm going to use the treble clef one. If you're bass clef, it's going to be all the same answers and the same letter names. You just are going to be a different line or space, but it should all work out. I would just recommend you look more at your worksheet than you do at the screen. So, key signature is your first vocabulary word. It is a pattern of sharps or flats at the beginning of a piece of music. Written directly after the clef, it indicates which notes are altered for the entire song or section. Now there's a lot to that, so we're going to go through each part on its own, okay? So it's a pattern of sharps or flats. So examples of that would be right here. A pattern of sharps or a pattern of flats. It's at the beginning of the song. Sometimes you'll have a key signature change in the middle of a song, but you'll always have one at the beginning of the song, okay? That key signature might have no flats or sharps, so it might look like there's nothing there, but that's still telling you that no notes are sharps or flat, okay? So the key signature here has 2 sharps, here it has 3 flats. It is right after the clef. So right after the clef is the key signature because it's very, very important, so it's right there at the front. These sharps or flats indicate which notes are altered for the entire song or section. So it says the entire song, but again, you might have a key change, so it might be just a big section of music, okay? But we're going to mostly talk with song because right now most of you probably are mostly playing songs that have one key signature or just a couple key signatures in them. All right, so it's going to be good for the whole song or section. So that means that in this key signature, there's an F sharp and a C sharp. Again, if you're bass clef, yours is going to look slightly different, okay? So if you're a bass clef, you're going to have a sharp on the F line and the C space. If you're a treble clef, it's going to be on your F line and your C space. That tells you that every F in this whole song and every C in the whole song is going to be a sharp, unless there's an accidental or a key change or something telling you not to play it that way. So it's just a given that every F and every C you come across is going to be a sharp. Now on this one, you've got flats. So bass clef here, you've got B flat, E flat, and A flat. Treble clef, B flat, E flat, A flat. And you know that because they're on the B line or the E space or the A space. All the notes in that whole song that are B's, E's, and A's are going to be flats unless there's an accidental or something telling you differently, okay? All right, so that's what key signature is. There are a few more rules that we'll go over on this lesson and the next lesson to talk about it even more, but that's the basic idea, okay? All right, there is an order to the flats. There's an order of flats, and so that's what we mean by the pattern of sharps. It will always be in the same order. So if you have 1 flat, it will always be B flat. If you have 2 flats, it will always be B flat and E flat. If you have 3 flats, it will always be B flat, E flat, A flat. If you have 4, it will be B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat. Notice those first 4 spell bead, okay? So you also have a copy of the key chant in your workbook. So the order of flats is B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, C flat, F flat. The way I remember that is bead, B-E-A-D, greatest common factor. Okay, now you can come up with whatever you want to remember that. But for me, I think bead, greatest common factor, which is a math term, okay? For sharps, I'd think fat cats go down alleys eating birds. F-C-G-D-A-E-B is the order of sharps, okay? And you might learn this whole chant. This would help you and help you be able to think of things faster. If you really understand kind of what you're doing and you just know the order of flats and sharps, you can figure it all out just by knowing those 2 things. So bead, greatest common factor, or fat cats go down alleys eating birds. Now, if you look at these 2 patterns, you'll notice something about them. They are in reverse order. B, E, A, D, G, C, F, F, C, G, D, A, E, B. But it is easier to just learn how to say it, fat cats go down, alleys eating birds, or FCGDAEB, than to try to think backwards, right? I mean, thinking the alphabet backwards is tricky enough, but a random combination of letters backwards is probably not going to be the most efficient way. So you just need to memorize these so that you can just call them to order as quick as you need. So let's say that you have a key that has 4 flats. You know instantly, you don't even have to think about it. It's going to be bead, B-E-A-D. Those are going to be your 4 flats. Yes, you can look and you can figure out B flat, that's on the E space, so that's E flat, that's on the A space, so that's A flat. But that took longer than just thinking, oh, well, B, E, A are the first 3 flats, so of course it's going to be B, E, A, okay? And notice if there's sharps, the first 2 sharps are F and C, fat cats. Okay, so knowing the order of sharps and flats is going to be really helpful, okay? All right, so now let's talk about key signature can be thought of as all the accidentals found in a scale being placed at the beginning of a song or section of music. This keeps the composer from having to write out every flat or sharp and makes the music easier to read. Let's look at the concert E-flat scale, okay? So here you've got a scale, it has a bunch of flats in it. So you have a lot of flats written in the music. We don't even have bar lines or anything, and it still looks a little bit busy, right? Or you can just put 3 flats at the beginning, and then you don't have to mark any of the flats in the whole scale. The player just knows to do it because you told him at the beginning. Okay, all your B's, E's, and A's are going to be flat. So we're going to do that same thing. This is the B flat scale. Okay, now if you think about the keyboard lesson, which hopefully you've completed this keyboard lesson, we actually did the B flat scale right here, okay? And we talked about how you're going to start on a B flat. So I'm going to go ahead and put a flat sign. Well, I'm not going to put a flat sign here because we're going to put it at the beginning. But this note is a B flat. Then we have C, D, E flat. So this is an E flat, F, G, A, B flat, okay? So in the B flat scale, you're going to have 2 flats, and they're going to be B flat and E flat. The other way you would know that is if you memorize your key chant, you know that the key of B flat has 2 flats, B flat, E flat. Okay, key of B flat, 2 flats, B flat, E flat. So, and there's a couple other ways actually to figure it out, but we're going to just stick with those 2 for today. So the names of the flats here in order, remember we're going to do B flat first, and then we're going to do E flat. You don't go E flat and then B flat. You always go B, E, A, D, G, C, F. So the first one's always B. So now we need to figure out where we're going to put that B. Well, it's going to go, if you're in treble clef, it's going to go on the 3rd line. If you're in bass clef, it's going to go on the 2nd line. Okay, so you can also look down here to double check yourself. Okay, and then the E, if you're in treble clef, it's going to go on the top space, and if you're in bass clef, it's going to go on the 3rd space. So instead of having to write all the flats here, we just write it at the beginning. Now, in this case, it's like you only saved yourself 1 flat, right? But think about if you were writing a song that had 1,000 notes, that saves you a lot of marking flats. Okay, so that's why we do it at the beginning. It also lets the player know instantly that they're in the key of B flat, which is helpful to a performer. Okay, now let's come down here. It says, write the note names below the notes. Be sure you're applying the key signature to the entire song. So this is different than accidentals that are only good for a measure. Key signature is good for the whole song, not just one measure, okay? Write the sharp sign after the letter name when writing with letter names. So if you're reading it like A sharp, B sharp, C sharp, you would write the sharp sign after the letter name. For example, it's F sharp, not sharp F. Okay, so first of all, which notes are going to be sharp? F sharp, fat, C sharp, cats. F sharp and C sharp, same thing for bass clef. All right, so we have D, C sharp. This note's just plain old B. Now, here, this is also still going to be a C. Every C in this whole song is going to be a C. What about this one right here? This is a C, but it's not up here on this line or this space, but it's still a C. So this is still going to be a C sharp, okay? All right, and you're going to want to make sure you get your F sharps as well, both in this octave up here and in this octave down here. for bass clef real quick, we're talking about the C here. And let's see, you don't have a C that's in a different octave. Let's see, if yours more in this smaller range, you do have this F sharp down here though. So no matter which octave it's in, it's still sharp. Okay, go and pause, put in all your note names, and then come back and we'll check it together. So here we have C sharp, E, F sharp, D, C sharp because of the key signature, A, F sharp, D, C sharp, D, C sharp, D, okay? All right, if you missed any of those, you can pause and figure out why and fix it. All right, now here it's asking you to rewrite the song above on the staff. I'm sorry, whoa, let's back up. I skipped this. Circle all the notes that are flat in the song below. Let's do that first. So B flat, E flat, and A flat. So any B flat, any E flat, any A in this line, you're going to circle it. So for example, you're going to circle that because it's an E flat. You're going to circle that because it's a B flat, circle that because it's an A flat. Okay, do that whole line and then come back and we'll check. So you've circled B flat, E flat, A flat, B flat, E flat, and then E flat. Okay? All right, now let's look at this next part. Rewrite the song above on the staff below, but with no key signature. So we're going to write all the flats in. It says use individual flat signs instead. So we're writing it the way that takes more work. The way you would play it, okay? So you would actually play this as an E flat, a B flat, an A flat. So we're going to write it in with all the symbols. Include the clef and time signature. Recopy all notes, but be sure to place a flat sign before each B flat, E flat, and A flat. Now remember, when we're writing it on the staff, we put the note before. So like right here, this is an A flat in treble clef. Okay, in bass clef that would actually be a C flat, but the flat goes before the note itself. Okay, and it says be sure that the stems are going the correct direction. So if you just copy from here, it should be fine and they're on the correct side. Don't forget your bar lines and the final bar line. Okay, all right, you can pause and come back, or you can kind of do a little bit with me. I might get a little bit ahead of you. Pause if you need to get behind. I'm going to try to go through it pretty quickly, okay? So first of all, you're going to draw a clef. So if you're treble clef, you're going to draw the treble clef. If you're bass clef, draw your bass clef. And then no key signature. So I'm going to skip that. I'm still going to put my time signature on there. We're in 3/4 time. And then I'm going to put a flat sign right off the bat because my first note's an E flat. Then I'm going to put a C, a B flat. Notice I'm putting the flat signs in as we go so I don't accidentally run out of room. And then a bar line. Okay, I'm going to come back and make sure I get my 8th note correct here. Got my beams going the right way, my stems going the right way. We're good to go. Okay, now I'm going to put another flat sign. We've got a B flat, stem going down, a D, an E flat, 8th note, stems going down, and then an A flat. There's my flat sign. Okay, and you want to try to stay small so you can fit it all in, okay? All right, then I've got another B flat, so I'm going to put a B flat sign, and a G, an E flat, so put your flat sign, your E, your D, stems go up on the right, connect them with a beam for 8th notes, an F, add your bar line, and a flat sign, E, got a double bar line at the end, or a final bar line, I should say. Make the second one a little bit thicker. I think I got it all. Let me go back and check here. Double check yourself, make sure you've got all the flats. And I think that is correct. So that is what you should have. You can double check yourself, pause if you need, make sure you've got it all. The link to the next lesson in this video series can be found in the description below.